Hi, I'm Riyaz Safi, and welcome to Thinking Out Loud. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, and in that way, you'll never miss another episode. On today's episode, we chat about moving abroad, and in particular, living in the US. What is the experience like? Is the grass really greener on the other side? We chat to Zaahid Munshi, who has been living in the US for 18 years and his family located to the US in 2003. Hey Zaahid, and welcome to Thinking Out Loud.
Hey Riaz, thanks for having me.
Certainly, it's a pleasure catching up with you. So let's start from the beginning. Do you remember the first time you and your family decided to move abroad? How did you feel at that time?
So there were definitely some mixed emotions, as you can imagine. I remember I moved when I was about 9, 10 years old. So basically what had happened was my dad came home from work one day and, he broke the news to us that he was getting promoted and had to make a big change. Mm-hmm. And the move was definitely something that made an impact to all of us, and the biggest decision was leaving the family behind and, just taking everything and moving to the US with it.
Now, being 9 years old, it must have been quite a bit of a change because at that time you might have been already at school, making friends. So how did you feel about leaving school, your friends and family at that age?
Right. If I remember correctly, I was in third grade, and leaving friends wasn't the toughest part, only because, when you're that age, you're not as close to them as you are, if you were 13, 14, or around that age,
A teenager, yeah.
Yes. I think the most challenging part was to leave the family behind, your grandparents, your cousins, all of them. But it was definitely exciting as well as a little bit sad at the same time.
Okay. Now, once you got there and, of course, settling into a life, going to school, far away from family, what are some of the experiences been like, or going to school, making new friends, settling in, learning the culture in the US?
It was definitely a huge culture shock. The biggest thing I noticed when we moved to New York was just the vibe. It's an extremely relaxed, friendly vibe. People here, you walk into the street, they'll say hey, they'll say what's up, they'll give you a smile. It's a really nice feeling, and it's a lot more relaxed. And one of the biggest things that we were astounded with was the security in regards to like your home and just where you live. There's no security here. Like, for example, we had a security system in the home, but we were living there for 9 years and never used it once. Whether we took a trip to South Africa for a couple of months and then came back, we never set the alarm. And it's crazy because, to be honest, we never knew how to use the alarm system, which is pretty amazing. Because in South Africa, that's like a number one priority. When you leave in the home, when you go into bed, set the alarm and, you'll be safe. Here, it's there were times where we actually left the front door unlocked and went to bed because we forgot to lock it. And it's safe. The feeling of safety here is amazing.
I must be honest with you, it reminds me of my time when I was living in the UK. And we were sitting on the bus, and there was these few white gentlemen from South Africa, obviously. And they obviously didn't know that we were from South Africa as well. And then they were saying the C word. I'm not going to use that right now, but they say hier komela. And they started obviously talking about us. And then we sat through the journey. And then in about 15, 20 minutes when we got off, we greeted them in Afrikaans. And I guess the guys were so shocked. They apologized to us after that. So I guess sometimes you just have to be careful about these things. So now, what other memories do you have about going to school? Of course, the schooling in the US is very different to how they do it in South Africa. What are some of the things that stood out for you while you were at school and college, etc.?
Right. The facilities in the U.S. are phenomenal when it comes to sports. So your soccer fields are top of the art. Well maintained soccer fields. In South Africa, we used to play on the dirt. I remember I used to roll around like tires in the inside the schools. There and here. I mean, you come here and the facilities are just amazing. You have all these type of activities before school, after school, which you can attend and meet new kids and stuff like that. They keep it very very maintained, which is really nice, and you can be involved in almost everything. Chess club, inside dance, music, you name it, you can do it.
What did you excel in?
I was more on the athletic side, and if you name it, I played every sport I could. From tennis, soccer, to basketball, football, you name it, I played it, which is really nice.
Now, there must be things about the US that you dislike as well. Share with us some of those things that you just thought, back home, they don't do these things.
Yes, to be honest, Riaz, I think the biggest thing I miss is the food. Especially the muchachos and Nando's and all those the fast foods in SA are just something that you crave for every single day. Here, yes, you do get all different types of food, but it just doesn't have that same taste. That's one. The other thing is family. That's something we miss a lot, staying here within the US. Even though we've been here for 18 years now, we still we try to come every 2 years or a year, just whenever we can. But other than that, I would say, Riaz, there's nothing here really that that we don't get or we dislike or anything of that sort.
So you basically miss the food and family. So we know why you visit us now. From our discussions when you visit South Africa, it seems like you guys have established a very good community with and friends as well. What are some of the highlights when working together on community projects?
Communities here are huge. It's a huge thing here, and I'll tell you this. If we didn't find the community that we did in New York, I don't think we would have stayed here for as long as we did. I think we would have moved back. And the reason why I'm saying this is because just the people here, right? Your communities are its own melting pot. And you get people from all over the world, you name it, from Europe, from the Middle East, and they're all coming together, and we host these events and these projects, and every person from everywhere, no matter the politics, the cultural differences, all that, when you together as a community, there's none of that. It's just it's just person to person, and I think that's the most amazing thing that we've experienced. And the community here has become the family that we don't have here, and which is part of why we stayed here.
So there must have been a project you guys worked on that you really would like to share with us So something that you really enjoyed. One of the projects you worked on.
Yeah, so recently, actually, there was a mosque here that needed some serious the upkeep needed to be addressed. And here, we don't have the luxury of having people who are wealthy enough to to make the mosques, extravagant, and to have the and to have the maintenance that it needs. So the community, they got together, and we basically went into the mosque, and we did everything: painting to changing out cabinets to replacing the kitchens, the carpets, everything that needed to be addressed. We as a community came together and we did that. We didn't take anyone else from the outside, and that was something that was pretty amazing that we managed to accomplish as a community.
Now, the US is a diverse place in that you get to see and do a lot. What are some of the things that you've done and experienced while living there?
So when we moved from New York to Pennsylvania, experience wise, I started to work when I was 13, and I worked since then.
Child labor.
Surprisingly, that's something that's very common here. Here, if you want to make it big, you have to work. And a lot of kids, they actually start to work when they 12, 13 years old, which is amazing because you experience so much at that age. And when I started to work, at the time I was going to school, I worked, and then I decided to go take courses to become a firefighter. And that was something that that experience you get is not something you can just learn from a book or from that's something that you need to learn hands on. And then I decided to become to become an EMT as well. That kind of that type of experience where you're trying to save a life with CPR. I mean, that's something that you can't find anywhere else. It was easy. I went to the fire station. I said, "Hey, I would like to work with you guys and to volunteer." And they said, "Yeah, no problem. Just sign this form, and you go take a course, which is like 3 months, and you all set." Which was amazing.
So you're still a firefighter?
Yes. Once you're a firefighter, that's it. You are a firefighter for life.
Any experiences while on the job? That must have been quite an interesting job, or quite an interesting project to volunteer for.
So when you're volunteering, you actually going into the fires. You all in, and you go into the homes, that are just lit up. You can't see anything. Smoke is just around you. You have your ventilation, but you can't really hear anything like that. And it's amazing because you use these specific tactics to communicate, and to just to take care of that home, and it's amazing because when you in there, the feeling that you have, your adrenaline rushing, is just, like I said, something that you have to experience at some time in your life. You can't get that experience anywhere else.
Were you not afraid? I would be really afraid to go into a place that's burning up. Did you ever have such an experience where you went in and you said, "What did I get myself into?"
No, I live for that type of the adrenaline rush. If I see something burning, I'll be the
Okay, we know who to give a call. The term that many people hear about the world over is the American dream, something that is sold to the world. Think big and make things happen. What have you personally done besides being a firefighter in terms of setting up a business, and what's the experience been like in the American context?
Yeah, so a lot of people have a different perspective of what the American dream is. And some people see it as something simple as, coming from a country as a refugee and coming to the U.S. and starting up a life here, but a simple life, just to get work, or to find work and to live here. It is That's the American dream for some. Others, it's becoming this successful person, and making it, so that you are extremely like wealthy and so on and so forth. But I'll tell you what, it's real. The American dream is real, and from my experience, I've seen that, because it's the opportunities that you have here are endless. You can pretty much do anything here, and you can become a successful person as long as you work hard. Um, and with me starting up my business, which is a cleaning service, it was it was so easy to just go through the process. It took me 2 days, Riaz. All I did was I went online, I
Wow.
registered my business online. I paid a fee, and they sent me the certificates, and that was it. My business was registered. The only part that I had to do was to find people to work for me, and then my clients. And clients nowadays is so easy to grasp through social media, and the internet and stuff. So I've had the business now for about a year, and I'll tell you, I didn't think it was gonna pick up this fast, but it did.
Two
So
days. I'm still trying to get over the shock. 2 days
yeah,
to
no,
register a business.
really. 2 days, yes, and it's amazing. I mean, the system that they have here, they have a system for everything, and it works. There isn't a system here that does not work. I mean, other people may say different according to how the government works and stuff, but if you look in, if you come in from a country that has systems that don't work at all, you can see the difference, and you'll actually appreciate it here. Um, but yeah, if there's anybody that's looking to come to the U.S., I would say yes, do it. Take the risk. Move over here. It's not as difficult as people make it sound. Some people are still scared that they think that they can't receive a visa, but a visa is simple as well. People make it so scary. Oh, you can't get a visa, this and that. I mean, it's not. It's really not. You sign a piece of paper, you wait a couple weeks, and you have it in hand.
Okay, you make it sound easy. I'm going to apply for mine. um,
Definitely.
yeah. So, like you said, you'd encourage people to do that. I recall what happened to me a couple of years back when I decided to go and work in the UK. And what I did is I was in a corporate job. It was really boring me to death, to be quite honest. And I thought, no, man, this can't be life. I need to travel a little bit, open my mind, and live in a new country. And that's when I decided to move to the UK. It was quite popular at that time. And I must be honest with you, when you talk about risk and the things that you've been involved in or now that you're living in the US, I've had the similar experience in that I went to London with a return ticket. So I said, if things don't work out, I can always come back. That's the one thing I can be guaranteed of. But I've got to try it, because if I don't, I'm never going to know what was it like. And I went with £500, which is not a lot of money. And I thought, in about a week or two, if I don't get a job, I'm out of here. And things just worked out after that. And it's amazing once you put your mindset to it and you have a positive attitude. I guess the first world countries provide for many opportunities if you're willing to work, like you said earlier.
Correct. Yeah, as long as you have that open mind, Riaz, I mean, it's endless. I think that's the most important thing. Like you said, have a positive. The attitude has to be positive. Your mind has to be open, and I've seen it, because my wife, who recently moved to America the first time, she never visited. And I told her, I said, look, if you come into the U.S., you have to have an open mind. And she did, and she loves it here. She came here. She's now teaching at a daycare. I mean, she goes to university. I was shocked to see how well she coped when she came here because she's never left South Africa. And this was the first time she's coming. She left everything behind, her family, everything, and she came here with an open mind, and she's succeeding, and she's come a long, long way, which is impressive.
Very impressive and inspirational as well. What are the three things that people must experience when visiting the US? This is helping me a little with my itinerary as well, the day I pitch up there.
And you always welcome here, Riaz. The door
Yes,
is
of
always
course.
open.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the biggest things, obviously, is to take a trip to New York. And if you're coming from South Africa, you're gonna be landing in New York, and definitely go check out Times Square. Like I said, New York itself is just a melting pot. You got people from all over the world. You're talking, you know, and everyone's just extremely friendly. Like, you'll walk past someone and they'll say hi to you. Like, they won't even know you, and they'll just say hi, hey, how's it going? The atmosphere is just phenomenal, and we love New York. I try to go back every weekend if I could. And that's one place that everyone needs to visit. You'll basically you can't experience the United States just by seeing that. I would say you definitely need to visit states that are in the South and in the West, California or Florida, because every state here is like experiencing a whole completely just a different country. The cultures are completely different. The traditions are different. It's amazing, and it's all in one country.
Is New York, the famous saying about New York, it's a city that never sleeps. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes, I've actually experienced that quite a few times, where we've been to New York and we stayed up for 2 days, without any sleep, and it's live. It's live throughout the day, throughout the night. The stores basically open up at 6 a.m. And they close at around 11. And then there's some stores like food places and all that are staying throughout the night. They never close, which is amazing.
Wow. 6 a.m. Sure. Okay. I guess the people working really hard over there. So 6 a.m. in the morning to 11, and some of the food places open throughout the night. Last time we spoke about this drive that you do. What was the word you used?
Yes, it's called a Wawa run. So,
Wawa run, yeah.
yes,
Tell us a bit
Wawa
more
run.
about that.
So it's funny because the logo is the haha bird that you get in South Africa. Those birds that wake you up with the ha-has.
Yes, I do.
That's actually the logo that they have at Wawa. And what it is, it's a gas station, but it's a deli as well, and it's very advanced. You go in there and you having fresh food. So fresh bread, fresh food comes in every 2 hours, and you go there. There's the iPads right there. You go through every food that you're looking for. Sandwiches, pasta, you name it, and you choose what you want. Within 5 minutes, the food is ready, freshly made, and it's open 24/7. So we would go after a long day, 2 o'clock in the morning. We'll say, "Oh, I'm starving," and we'll go there. We'll get a sandwich, and there's no problem. There's no line or anything. It's the system, as I said, that they have here, with just food, is just amazing.
Oh, no wonder America has an obesity problem. Are the sizes really, really extra, extra large?
Yes, you name it. Anywhere from your chips to your drinks, everything is made here for two.
Wow. Okay. Now, what are some of the lessons that you've learned from with your move from South Africa? Of course, you were quite young at that time, 9 or 10 years old. But what are some of the things that you've learned to appreciate that you'd someday teach to your kids and say that, these are the lessons that I've learned and I'd like to pass on to you?
Right. I think the number one lesson that would be for me would just to Having an open mind is extremely important, Riaz, and I say that because you know when we were in South Africa, we didn't have as much of an open mind as we do now, and we tend to follow in the old school traditions, old school footsteps. And I'll tell you what, it won't get you anywhere. Having an open mind and a positive attitude every day is extremely important. Waking up and working hard um, is something that everyone needs to do to reach their goals and to become successful. And that's the only way you'll survive in a different country that you haven't experienced or you haven't been. But yeah, that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned.
Is to have an open mind, and yes, the world is your oyster. Of course, you can learn a lot by having an open mind, and I guess tradition is good as well because it keeps you rooted. But at the end of the day, having an open mind about things, people, places, certainly does give you a better perspective and a more positive way to live your life. And that's very, very important. I guess that's the best point I've learned from this. Zaahid Munshi, thank you so much for chatting to us on Thinking Out Loud. Your parting shot.
It's a pleasure, Riaz. Thank you so much for having me. And I'll see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll catch up when you're here. We can't take you for the Wawa run. What's it? Yeah, it's the Wawa run, isn't it? I'm trying to get that word right.
Yes, it's a Wawa run, but I'm sure I'll gladly settle for the Muchachos run.
Oh, Muchachos. Yeah, that's an easy one. There's quite a few right around everywhere in South Africa. Now, we say, how's it here in South Africa? What's the one thing or the phrase in America that's quite popular, and we'll call it, we'll end the show with that?
God bless America.
God bless America. Okay, so that's the popular thing. Thank you so much, Zaahid Munshi, for chatting to us on Thinking Out Loud.
Thank you, Riaz. Have a good one.
Over the next couple of weeks, we feature a variety of guests who will help us find answers to questions we often think about, but rarely ask on Thinking Out Loud. This is Riaz Safi saying thank you so much for listening. Till the next episode, bye for now.